So first up is Guillermo Varela, David Moyes' first signing, Man United's first signing after Sir Alex left. And realistically, it was just more of a punt. It was a case of if this guy's young, he's got a bit of potential. We bought him, we tried him, it failed. He's gone into the flop. Now we have Marwan Fellaini, and this is a weird one because this was never what Man United fans wanted in that first summer after Ferguson. He technically wasn't very good. The fee was worse because we had the chance to buy him for half the price, but we dilly-dallied trying to get other people. We were trying to get Fabregas, we were trying to get Bale. We ended up with Fellaini at double the price that it would have cost us 2 weeks earlier. But over time, he did become useful. He became a bit of a cult hero, just a guy to get up the field and be a nuisance. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. So I'm going to stick him in the mixed. And then we have Juan Mata, the first signing after Sir Alex that actually felt like it was a Sir Alex type signing. We were getting Chelsea's best player, their two-time player of the year, proper technical footballer, somebody with real class. Did he hit the level we hoped for? Absolutely not. Definitely wasn't consistently, performing at a high level. He was often played out wide, which is probably why United were messy at the time, and we had Rooney that liked to drop deep. So he never became the main man, but almost 300 games, over 50 goals, some big moments. I mean, we all remember the goals at Anfield. I'm going to put him in the good signing. If we'd have played him as a number 10, like for his whole career, it would have probably been great, but he was out wide most of the time. So just a good signing. So Ander Herrera, he came in as this technically gifted Spanish midfielder, but at United, he became more of a fighter, a tackler, a presser, doing all the dirty work, but still with quality on the ball. He wasn't world class, but he probably wasn't always used perfectly as well at Man United. But for what, 28, 29 million, nearly 200 games, 20 goals, he won trophies, Player of the Year awards. I mean, that's a very good return. He wasn't a legend, but for me, he's a great signing. What a player he was. Okay, now for Luke Shaw. And we all know that injuries, they played a big part in his Man United career. They frustrated everybody. But when he was fit, he was absolutely amazing. He was strong defensively. He carried the ball amazingly. He gave us balance on that left-hand side. We signed him as a teenager. He's played over 300 games for us. He's won trophies. He's our longest-serving player, I think. I'm going to put him in the good signing. Should have been a great signing if he could just stay fit, but he goes in the good signing. Okay, now for Victor Valdez, and on paper, it sounded like a clever piece of business. Champions League winner coming in as a free to give cover for David De Gea. But in reality, he barely played. He made only 2 appearances, and he completely fell out with Van Gaal. There wasn't really any damage financially because he wasn't on a huge contract, but at Man United, it did not work. Flop. And now for Marcus Rojo, and he came in after a strong World Cup. He had the aggression, the versatility. He was a left-footed centre-back, balance that most teams need at his best, especially under Mourinho. He was a pretty solid player. He gave us a lot of fight, but he ended up with a lot of injuries, rash defending sometimes, lack of consistency. Meant he never became a defender that we hoped he would. Wasn't he a flop? By far was not a flop. Over 100 games, trophies. Definitely not a great or good signing, I don't think. I'm going to give him a mixed bag. If he could have stayed consistent, it would have been a good signing. But a mixed bag, but he is a cult hero at Old Trafford. Okay, now for Radamel Falcao, and the expectation was that United were getting a world-class number 9, but reality was completely different. He looked short of sharpness, short of confidence, and he never really got going under Van Gaal. He got 4 goals in 29 games, no trophies, going after one season. A likeable player, the fans really got on for him, really tried to help him. Brilliant career outside of Manchester, but it did not work. He's got to go in a flop. Okay, now for Angel Di Maria. And he came in for about 60 million. He's freshly just won the Champions League with Real Madrid, and he started really well at Old Trafford. After that, he faded badly. His style didn't suit Van Gaal's system. Looked like he didn't want to be there. His wife apparently hated Manchester, and he was gone after one season. Talent-wise, we should have signed one of the best players in the world. Signed him for 60 odd. I think we sold him for like 45 to PSG, so we got most of our money back. But this has got to go down as a flop. He just didn't do it. Had 1 or 2 good games, and that was it. Okay, now for Daley Blind. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't quick. He was never going to be a superstar. He was a really intelligent footballer. He could play left back, centre back, or in midfield. Under Van Gaal, he was actually quite important to the squad, especially with his pass and his calmness on the ball. We paid about 14 million for him. He played over 140 games, won a couple of trophies. We get good value out of him. Not quite great, but I think he's got to go down as a good signing. A decent player. Okay, now for Matteo Darmian, and he arrived as a solid Italian international. He started quite well under Van Gaal, but he never really became a long-term right back that United needed. He was reliable enough, he could cover both sides, and if it wasn't a disaster. After his first season, he became more of a squad player than a key player. He was useful at times, he won trophies, but overall, not a good signing. I'm going to give him a mixed bag. Right, who remembers Depay? He arrived at PSG, he was the top goal scorer in Holland, took a number 7 shirt. The expectation was that United have signed a future superstar. There were flashes, especially in Europe, But he never adapted properly to the Premier League. He lost his place quickly, and under Mourinho was basically finished at United. I'm not going to put him down as a complete flop because he was young and he was talented and he did have a good career. But at Man United, it just didn't work for him. I'm going to give him disappointed. Okay, now we have Antony Martial. And the talent is obvious from day one, especially that debut goal against Liverpool. He scored 90 goals in over 300 games, about 320 games or so. It's not a total failure. He had some brilliant spells, especially in the 2015-16 season, the 2019-20 season. At times he looked like he could become United's main forward. But for the price, for the hype, the expectation of him becoming a superstar, he never lived up to it. He delivered inconsistent performances, and then injuries caught up with him, dips in form, attitude, even at times. I'm going to put him in the mixed bag category. Should have been a superstar. He just didn't want it. Now for Sergio Romero, he was a free transfer, backup goalkeeper. He's about as good as you could have asked for. He's probably one of the best goalkeepers that Man United have had in the last 20 years. Barely complained, reliable. Whenever he played, he was brilliant. And it was massive in the 2017 Europa League run. He even played in the final against Ajax. He was never going to replace David De Gea. He was probably our best player at the time. But expectation versus reality, this was an excellent value signing. I'm going to put him in the great signing category. Okay, now we have Morgan Schneiderlin, and at the time, it looked like a really good signing, a sensible signing, Premier League proven, strong defensively, a good age, someone who was supposed to be a part of a midfield rebuild. But at United, he never really imposed himself. I think the club was too big for him. It was okay in spells under Van Gaal, but it became forgettable very quickly. And then Mourinho came in and moved him on almost as quick. Not a total flop. We did get a bit of money back for him, but it was average. He's going in with disappointing. Okay, now we have Sebastian Schweinsteiger, and he came in, the German international, World Cup winner, Bayern legend, one of the best midfielders of his generation. The expectation wasn't high because he was kind of old, but you thought he'd bring in quality, bring in leadership, control, experience in midfield. But the reality was, 35 years old, and the appearances, they were few and far between. Mourinho basically moved him on almost immediately. A huge name, good professional, and he now loves Man United. But it never really happened for him. I'm going to put him in disappointed. Okay, now we have Erik Bailly. And at the start, he looked like he could be an absolute monster at the back. He was quick, he was aggressive, strong. He even had that mad chaos factor about him that the fans absolutely love. They enjoyed it. His first season was pretty damn good as well. He won trophies straight away. But after that, the injuries, they kept coming. Consistency disappeared. And it became quite obvious quite quickly that he was not going to be the man that we all thought we were getting. So I'm going to put him in the mixed bag category. Really good first season. The rest of his Man United career, frustrating. Okay, now for Henrik Mkhitaryan. And he came in with big expectations after a brilliant couple of seasons at Dortmund, and there were definitely moments. A scorpion kick, some good Europa League performances. There was a goal in final against Ajax, but he never really became a Premier League consistent performer for Man United. And by the second season, Mourinho had lost all faith in him. There was no trust whatsoever. Not a flop because he did help win trophies. He did have big moments, but for the hype, for what he done in Germany, it should have been a lot better. I'm going to put him in disappointing. And then we have Paul Pogba. Back for his second spell at Man United. Of course, he was there as a youngster. 233 games, 39 goals, 51 assists. Helped win the Europa League, the League Cup. I mean, was it as bad as we all thought? We all remember? There were spells where he looked like the best player on the pitch, especially under Mourinho, and even times with Solskjaer. But for a world record fee, for the expectation that he was going to be the new face of Man United, it never fully happened. Too many injuries, too much inconsistency, too many spells where you're waiting for more, too many fallouts with managers and players. Not a flop because he gave us big moments and he really was a damn good player at times. But definitely not the superstar that we thought we were buying. I'm going to put him in mixed bag. Okay, now for Zlatan Ibrahimovic, one of the best names in football for the last 20 years. We got him as a free transfer from PSG. He was 34 at the time. He came with massive personality. He gave United a proper focal point up front. He scored big goals, won 3 trophies. He basically dragged the attack through parts of that season. The only real reason he's not going to be extremely high on this list is because it was a short-term thing, and he eventually did get injured, which ended his Man United career. But I'm going to put in, he's going in the great signing. He was what a player, what a season that was. Brilliant. Okay, then we have Victor Lindelof. We got him from Benfica for about 25 million. We had him for 8 years, 284 appearances. It was pretty decent service. He was calm on the ball. He was intelligent, rarely a disaster. He had spells where he was a pretty important player in the team. But yeah, wasn't great, wasn't world class. I'm going to put him in the good signing category. Now for Romelu Lukaku, and I'm not going to lie, I didn't want this signing. I really did not like this guy as a player, but he scored 42 goals in 96 games, which is not bad at all. and we bought him for 75, and I think we got roughly 65 back for him when we finally sold him. So it wasn't a disaster financially either. But when you pay 75 for a striker, the expectation is that he'd become the main man. He'd score in the biggest moments. He would take us closer to a title challenge. Instead, he had a decent first signing, but then he faded badly. Never fully convincing. He couldn't control a ball to save his life. Definitely not a great signing. I'm going to stick him in the mixed bag. It wasn't even a good signing, if you ask me. Mixed bag. Okay, now we have Nemanja Matic, and he was not going to be a long term signing. He was 29 years old when we signed him for 40 million. But in that first season, he was actually exactly what Man United needed and exactly what Mourinho wanted: experience, control, size, protection in the midfield. The legs went later on, and he didn't win a trophy here, so I can't put him any higher. But 189 games, some pretty good spells, reliable player, but by the end, it was not really good enough. I'm going to put him in the mixed bag. Good at the start, faded badly. Okay, now for Alexis Sanchez. And this one should have been one of the biggest signings of the whole post-Fergie era. Arsenal's best player, Premier League proven, massive wages, and he gets a number 7 shirt. I was excited. United fans all over the world were excited, but it just wasn't to be. He never looked right. He worked hard, but the explosiveness it had gone. The confidence disappeared by the end of the season. He was nowhere near good enough. 5 goals in 45 games, no trophies. United had to move him on. For the expectation, the cost, it's got to be a flop. He was a flop. Now for Diego Dalot, it took him some time, and for a while it looked like he might never really break through, especially after the Milan loan. But for like 20 million, he's become a pretty reliable Man United player. He's played over 200 games, he's won trophies, covered both right back and left back, even won Fans Player of the Year. He's not going to be a club legend. He's not even probably going to be a great, but I'm going to put him down as a good signing, and he's still there. He's still doing it. Okay, now for Fred, 52 million, definitely too expensive. He never really became a complete midfielder United thought they were buying. Technically, he could be loose. There was games where he looked chaotic. But he also played 213 games, worked ridiculously hard, had some big performances. Under Solskjaer and Ten Hag, he became a genuinely useful squad player. Not a flop, because he gave plenty and he tried plenty, but not a good signing. I'm going to give him a mixed bag. Okay, now for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and we definitely paid far too much for him. He was never a £50 million player. Defensively, though, one-on-ones, it was pretty damn elite at times. I mean, there was games where wingers just could not get past him. But for that 50 million, United needed a lot more going forward. And going forward, he was absolutely garbage. He could not do anything in the opposition half. Never really fully became the modern right back that we hoped we were signing. But defensively, it was pretty solid. He played 190 appearances. I got a couple of trophies. It wasn't terrible. I'm going to give him a mixed bag because that money that should never have been spent on him. Okay, Bruno Fernandes, and you know what? There's only one place for him, and that is a club legend. For this post Fergie list, it's definitely a legend. The only thing missing is a major team trophy because if United had won a league or a Champions League with him, it wouldn't even be a debate. But for impact, numbers, durability, leadership, and he carried Man United through some terrible seasons. He's been the best signing in the post Fergie era by far. Over 300 games, over 100 goals, captain of a club. Huge. I mean, absolutely insane creative numbers. Player of the season awards, expectation against reality. He absolutely deserves to be a club legend. I did not know he was going to be this good when we bought him. The guy is insane. A creative machine. Club legend. Okay, now we have Dan James, and he was never meant to be a superstar signing. We got him for 15 million, and he actually gave United some value. I mean, he was fast as hell. His work rate was insane. He had a few big moments. 74 appearances. His debut goal against Chelsea was brilliant. I mean, everybody loves a debut goal. It's a brilliant start. He did have spells where he was useful, but the end product never ever materialised. I don't even think he has it now. Years later, it wasn't a flop, and it was only 15 million. I believe we sold him to Leeds for like 20 million, so we got our money back. Just didn't work out for him. I'm going to put him in the mixed bag category. Okay, and then we have Harry Maguire now, 80 million. That was the most expensive defender in the world at the time. The expectation was that United were getting a dominant Van Dijk level centre back to lead the defence for years. The reality was not even close. He had good spells, played a lot of games, became captain. He won trophies, scored some big, big goals, but there was too many mistakes, too much pressure. He lost the captaincy. The fans were on his back, not just away fans, even the United fans at times. He became a meme. He done well to get back to where he's at now, but he was never a good signing. I'm going to put him down as a mixed bag, but he will go down as a sort of cult hero, I believe. Okay, now for Ahmad Diallo, and you know what? For a lot of time, it looked like United had spent a good amount of money on potential might never properly arrive. There was loans, there was injuries, there was barely any rhythm. But then he started giving us proper moments. Liverpool FA Cup winner, Southampton hat trick, goals against City, against Liverpool, and he became useful. He was exciting at times, rather than just a project. He's still not fully proven over multiple seasons, so I can't really put him too high. But I think we've got to put him in the good tier. He's he's becoming a pretty good, pretty reliable player, and he's still young. Good. Now we have Edison Cavani, and he came in on a free transfer. It was late in the window, 33 years old. The expectations were more about experience, short term cover, helping the squad, transforming the team. But in that first season, he was genuinely really, really good. The movement, the work rate, the proper striker's instincts, big European goals, a ridiculous lob against Fulham. The second season, it was a lot more frustration with injuries, with availability. So I can't put him in as a great signing, but I'm definitely going to put him in as a good signing. A free transfer, he got 19 goals in 59 games. His impact on the squad was brilliant. You're definitely a good signing. Okay, then we have Facundo Palestri, and he was somebody that United signed, hoping he would develop into a proper first team winger. Problem is, it just did not happen. He had flashes, he was quick feet, direct running. The fans did want to see more of him, but after 25 games, no goals. And then a few loans later, he left without ever becoming any sort of player. So I'm going to say disappointing. Okay, now Alex Telles, he came in from Porto. He had a bit of a reputation about him for good crosses, for set pieces, for attacking output. And the idea was he was going to just be competition for Luke Shaw. In fairness, he had some useful games. A volley against Villarreal was a brilliant moment. Overall, we never really nailed down the left back spot. He never really gave Shaw that much competition. Didn't really win anything. He went out on loan and he only had 50 appearances. Not expensive enough to be called a disaster, but definitely not the player that we thought we were getting. So that's disappointing. Okay, now for Donny van de Beek, and you know what? I feel sorry for Donny because he was clearly a clever footballer at Ajax. Good movement, one touch passing, arriving in the box late. But at United, it just never worked. He never fitted. He was stuck behind Bruno. He never really get trusted as a starter. Injuries came. He went out on loan. They finished. They came back. There was no momentum. There was never really a period of games where he played 10 games in a row. £35 million, pretty much a waste. 62 games, two goals. He left for next to nothing. I think it was 500k. You can't call it anything else other than a flop, and I feel bad for saying it because he was a good player. Man United get the reputation of ruining players. I do believe they actually ruined this player. He was good at Ajax, came to United, and then it was nothing. Career over, basically. So yeah, flop. Okay, Cristiano Ronaldo, take two. Yeah, his second spell. 27 goals in 54 games. That is a pretty strong return. He did give some really, really good moments, especially in Europe. A Spurs hat trick. Remember the debut goals? It was amazing. But as a signing, it also unbalanced the team, didn't lead to trophies, and it ended badly with the interview and contract termination. Not a flop, absolutely not, because the goals were real, but not a good signing either, because the overall impact on United, it was messy, and the way he left, it was an absolute disaster. I'm going to put him in the mixed bag. Okay, now Jadon Sancho, and this was supposed to be the answer to United's right wing problems. 73 million, one of the best young attackers in Europe, and somebody that United chased for about 2 years. But when he got to United, it never happened. There was flashes, especially in the 22-23 season, but nowhere near enough goals, nowhere near enough consistency. And then when Ten Hag fell out with him, basically finished. He'd won League Cup, 83 games, 12 goals, loans away, he leaves for nothing. It was an absolute flop, the biggest flop of all time, probably. Okay, so Rafa Varane, the quality was obvious. This was a World Cup winner, four-time Champions League winner. And when he was fit, he gave United some real calmness, real experience. Just a brilliant, brilliant player. He started in both the League Cup and the FA Cup final wins, so he did deliver big moments. The only thing stopping him becoming a great signing is his availability. He was getting on a wee bit. He picked up a few injuries. 95 games across 3 seasons. It's not terrible. But for the fee, the wages, expectation, the injuries kept holding him back. Still, overall, I think it was a good signing, and that's exactly where I'm going to put him. Okay, now for Antony. Oh no, I wonder what section I'm going to put him in. He had his moments, I suppose. Debut goal against Arsenal, Europa League goal against Barcelona, FA Cup equaliser against Liverpool. But for the money that United paid, it was nowhere near good enough. In fact, it was extremely bad. 80 million plus for a winger. Signed by Ten Hag to transform the right hand side. Ended up with 12 goals in 96 games. Almost no assists. He left for a huge loss. 25 million, I think we got back from him. It was nothing other than a flop, a big time flop. Okay, now we have Casemiro, came from Real Madrid, a five-time Champions League winner. 30 years old, 80 million, it was always too much money. But he gave United leadership, bite, experience, scored big goals. That first season, it was absolutely elite from him. And he'll go down as an absolute icon. He's a Real Madrid legend, but at Man United, he'll be an icon. The fans absolutely loved him. And you could see Casemiro loved playing for this club. He loved every minute of it. He's going to be only in the good section because the money was too much. So Casemiro, good. Then came Christian Eriksen on a free transfer. It was a smart piece of business. In his first season before injury, he gave United control. He was calm on the ball. It was quality on the ball as well, next to Casemiro, and it just worked. It was a big part of Ten Hag's best spell. The legs went a wee bit, then he was never going to be a long-term midfield solution, so you can he put him in the great, but for 107 games, 8 goals, 13 assists, and he won 2 trophies for a free signing. That's good value. That's a good signing. Okay, now Tyrell Malacia, and he was not a disaster, and it was pretty cheap when we bought him. He was brought in as cover for Luke Shaw, gave him a bit of competition. But you know what? He played a few good games, but then injuries came and absolutely killed any chance he had of being a good Man United player. He missed basically a full season, then he went out on loan and he never got back into the contention of playing for Man United. For 13 million, that was all we paid for him. It wasn't a massive deal, but 50 games, no goals, no real impact. Disappointing. Okay, now for Lisandro Martinez, and I'm going to just straight away stick him in the good signing. But injuries are the only thing stopping him being a great signing because when he's fit, he completely changes United's defence, the way they play, the way the squad is. He's aggressive, he's brave, he's left footed, good on the ball. He brings a wee nasty edge that we've been missing. For the fee, you expect a proper first choice centre back, and when he's available, that's exactly what he's been. That's exactly what he is. Over 100 games, 2 trophies, a big game presence, fan favourite. Not a legend yet, but he could still be one day. Definitely a good signing though. Okay, now for Altai Bayindir, you know what? For 4 million, he was just somebody who was going to come in as a squad player, maybe pushed to be a first team player one day. But because Onana was so bad, this kid got flung in at the deep end. He did give one or two brilliant moments. I mean, the FA Cup performance away at Arsenal, saving penalties from Odegaard and Havertz. It was okay at times, but as soon as something went wrong, his head went down and he was a disaster for months. And I felt sorry for him. He needed to get taken out, but who was it going to get took out for? Put Anana back in? Absolutely not. Better off playing with nobody in goal. This guy was just not good enough. So I'm going to put him in because I feel sorry for him. I'm just going to put him in mixed bag. Okay, now Johnny Evans. He came back as a 35-year-old free transfer, basically just as cover, just a bit of squad depth. And most people probably thought he wasn't going to play at all, but instead he ended up being a genuinely useful part of the squad during an injury crisis. Gave calmness, gave experience. He got an assist for Bruno against Burley, and he even played in the FA Cup final win over City. Finished with 43 appearances, and that was pretty damn good for a free transfer at 35. I'm going to put him in a good category, a good signing. Okay, now for Rasmus Hoyland. And he was bought, he came in from Italy, he was young, he worked hard, had some exciting spells, scored some important goals, he'd get 26 goals in 95 games, and that's not nothing to stick your nose up at, but for 72 million, United needed a striker who could lead the line, and he never really became that, not consistently. His first season it had promise, especially in Europe, but Premier League scoring run, it was non-existent. Second season, it didn't kick on, and he ended up back in Italy. Not a disaster, definitely disappointing. Okay, now for Mason Mount, come in from Chelsea for about 55 million. And you can see why managers like him. He's got pressing, he's got intelligence, he's got work rate. He was given a number 7 shirt and the expectation that he'd transform United's midfield, and it just didn't happen. Too many injuries, not enough output, not enough games where he's been a key player. There's a good player in there, but Man United have just not seen it, even remotely enough. Maybe 1 or 2 good games. So for me, this has been a disappointing signing. Now for Andre Onana. Now we let David De Gea walk out the club on a free transfer because we didn't want to renew his contract on that big wage, and we bought in this guy, 50 million. I'm just going to say it. He's the worst goalkeeper I've ever seen in my life. He's a flop. He's the biggest flop I've ever seen. Flop, 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 flop. Okay, now for Matty De Ligt, and he came in with a big reputation. He played for Ajax, Juve, Bayern. United needed him to be a proper first choice centre back. He's not really been perfect. Injuries have stopped him in his track, but he was brilliant for the first half of this season up until November where he got that injury. He was absolutely insane. When he's playing, he's brought leadership, aggression, aerial strength, a bit of authority at the back line. No trophies yet, so he can't be great, but I'm going to put him down as a good signing, and I hope he comes back. Okay, now for Patrick Dorgu. He was a young signing in a January transfer window, so I don't think it was ever going to come in and settle in straight away, but for about 30 million, he's already played nearly 50 games. Gives energy down that left-hand side. He's actually played on right-hand side a few times as well. Recently, he started chipping in with goals and assists, and I think the club are starting to eye him up as a more of an attacking talent than a defensive talent. He's not great yet, but I definitely think he's a good signing, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next season. Okay, Aiden Heaven for 1.5 million already. It's got to be any good at least. It was a smart piece of business. He came in as a young centre back from Arsenal. Not come in as a guaranteed starter, but he's already played first team games, quite a lot of them actually. He's shown composure. He looks like someone who's got real potential. I think this kid can go all the way. He can be as good as anybody. He's not done enough yet to go any higher, but I'm going to put him in the good category. For 1.5 million though, and the games he's played already, the potential that he's shown, I really think we've got a banger here. So he's going into the good category. Okay, now we have Nuzir Mazraoui, and you know what? For the price, it was a smart piece of business. He came in as a right back, but United have used him almost everywhere. I mean, Ten Hag even used him as a number 10 once, which was extremely stupid, and that's why he's out of a job right now. He's a fullback, wing back, centre back, even maybe even right mid or left mid for the right teams. He's an extremely intelligent player. His first season in United, his own profile says he made 57 appearances and he got the Players Player of the Year vote. That shows you how quickly he became trusted. Second season, it's not really been as good as the first. I'm going to put him down as a good signing because I think for the money, it was like 13 million. He's a damn good squad player, damn good signing. Okay, now for Manuel Ugarte. He came in for big money. We let go of Scott McTominay so we could buy this boy. He's a ball winning midfielder that United desperately needed. And there's been good moments and there's been bad moments. The worst moment is that the fact that his former manager didn't really trust him enough to play him. And that tells you everything you need to know. He's just not good enough for Premier League, not good enough for Manchester United. This goes down as disappointing. Okay, then we have Lenny Euro. We bought him as an 18-year-old. We beat Real Madrid to the signing. We paid 50 million for him. That's a lot of money for an 18-year-old centre back. It's 2 years later. He's 20 now. He's played 66 games. And United need him to become a real defensive pillar. And so far, it's not quite happened. Injuries did hurt the start. There's been promising games, but also there's been moments where he's looked raw. Long term, he can really be a damn good player for this club. But so far, I'm going to put him in the mixed bag. Okay, Joshua Zirkzee. You know what? He did have a few moments. There was a debut winner against Fulham. There was a couple of European goals, and you can see the technical link-up side of his game. It's not bad sometimes, but for a £36 million forward, 9 goals in 75 games is just not enough. He never looked like a proper United number 9. I'm going to put him in the flop. Not good enough. Okay, now for Matty Kuna, and he came in with proper expectation. He was my favourite player signing of last summer's transfer window. Premier League proven, cost 60 odd million, wasn't a flop at all. Gave United movement, ball carrying, link up play, the odd goal here or there. Took his time to get his first goal, but he got there in the end. 62.5 million, probably still needs another level before you can call him a great signing, but his work rate, his output, his duels, his impact in every single game almost. What a player. 60 million, probably a bargain. A guy who's just coming into his peak. This is a good signing. So now for San Lamens, and he came in with question marks. He was a young goalkeeper. We didn't know anything about him. He very quickly made that number 1 spot his own for around £18 million. United got a young keeper who is extremely calm. He makes big saves, gives the defence a lot more confidence. He's not a club legend, not yet. That's only because he's had one season. We haven't won anything, but this guy is an absolute rock in that goal. Value for money. Made impact straight away. Made the defence better. He is a great signing. Okay, now for Brian Mbuemo, and he came in for pretty big money. It was 60 odd million. But he actually gave United what they were buying. Premier League proven output, direct running, pressing, defensive output, left-footed threat from the right, and a reliable goal return. 12 goals, 3 assists. A strong first season, especially in a team that's doing a rebuild as we have done for about a decade. The only reason he's not a great signing after AFCON, he was a wee bit out of form, hit and miss, a bit inconsistent after that. I expect him to kick on in the new season, but for Mbuemo, he's a good signing. And now for big Benjamin Sesko, 6'5". There's another one that came in for like 60 odd million last summer transfer window. Okay, it was not a perfect first season. He took his time to get going, quiet spells, maybe a lack of confidence, getting used to the league. But he ended up with 12 goals, 32 games, and that's decent for a first season, especially for a young striker, especially when you think that I think he only got 2 goals in 17 games under Amram. Most of his goals came when Carrick took over. I'm excited to see what this boy can do next year, and he's going into the good signing.